What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Litecoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it, wasting no time at all. Let's try to make this video as quick as possible, okay? Here we are sitting at about $113. The price has come down a little bit since our recent $140 high. If we look at it on a 4-hour time frame, I think this is rather telling that we will go lower. We will go lower, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. In fact, if you know anything about corrective moves, corrective moves, they tend to be 1, 2, 3-legged patterns, right? You had your initial move down, you have your consolidation within the overall consolidation, right? So it's 1 move down, 2, and then 3. This is likely our last move down. So we're very close to the low. I don't think we're there yet. My expectation would be from a low to a high, we would move down to $106 to $101. It's a nice psychological area of support, being right there at about $100. That would make the most sense to me. RSI looks pretty sick. It looks pretty weak, so I would assume we do see this probably today. We probably see this today, and I would suspect that today, if not tomorrow, we are above, well above probably these current prices. I think that this dump will be quick. This dump will be very quick. The downside happens to be a lot weaker and less robust than the upside does. So whenever it comes, whenever the upside does come, I think in a matter of no time at all, you're going to be at relatively higher prices breaking out of this range. So this is your last kind of chance. Now the price doesn't have to go down there. It's completely possible. You could find support here. It'd be some kind of weird triple bottom. It's possible. It can happen. It'd be a higher low, whatever. It can happen. But based off of this and based off the RSI, I genuinely would expect that you go lower. The only thing that prevents me from being unlimitedly confident, 100% confident, is the fact that you're still above the 886. When you close a 4-hour candle, or probably just when you see prices below $113, that would validate the idea that you see $106 to $101. So Litecoin people, load up the truck at those prices. Not financial advice, but that's just my opinion. If we kind of take in these lows here, right? Delete that there. If you take in these lows, kind of drawing a line of best fit, it's not the most perfect line, but you bring that fit back on there. You know, if we go down, and if I was to move this line, maybe make it better fit, something like that. You know, seeing the 1272, $106 really could be the area that we find support at, okay? Sorry. I'm an asthmatic. It's a thing. It's a symptom. I didn't know that asthmatics had that, but apparently it's a symptom, just clearing your throat out. It's not a common symptom, but it does happen. If you look at the 1272, look at that. The 1272 here is right in the middle of your golden ratio of this overall move of which you're correcting in now. I suspect you don't see prices below $105. Right, I'm confident in that now. I suppose you could go to your 786. I'll take it back. Let's say 101, absolute lowest. It could go lower. You never know, but I don't think it goes lower than that. 105 to 108, likely that's your area. I like 106 as you're kind of in between that zone. So you're at 113 now. A move down to about 106. That probably happens today, and then starting today, going into tomorrow, and probably February, you start to pump and rip and continue what you're basically initiating already. Where's that going to take you when you move higher? Likely you're going to see a breakout of this overall range. So that would take you, once you see, and look at that too, man. That's also at the 382, right there at 106. You've got a lot of fib support there. Higher, low, just nice kind of trajectory. It just looks perfect. It really does. Finding support at previous areas of resistance and previous areas of support and previous areas of resistance back here. It makes a lot of sense. When you find support there, I would expect that initiates this move. You're going to see a bigger move than what you saw here. If you saw that same move, that would already take you out to new highs. So essentially, probably within the first few days of February, Litecoin will be worth $170 to $204. If not the first few days of February, it's going to be the last few days of January. I don't know how fast this move is going to take place, but you can see this thing can move whenever it wants to move, man. Litecoin, it lies. It's lied to people this past 2 cycles. It makes you think that it's this boring coin, but when it moves up, it moves at a very fast rate, and you can see it, right? It's in this 3-day period, you moved up a lot. Just imagine 3 days from now. Hold on, got to put that up. Just imagine 3 days from now, from a low to a high, from this current price, if you're at that puts you at 100. I'm telling you guys, if it's not the first few days, it'll be if it's not the first few days of February, it'd be the last few days of January that we're in this area. But sometime soon, I'm very much expecting we'll see prices around $170 to $204, and that's just in the beginning of February, right? That's not where you're stopping. No, that's not where you're going to stop. You've got higher prospects by the end of February, my friends. You didn't spend years, literal years, consolidating in this humongous accumulation zone to finally break out of it and then stop right here, right? No, that doesn't make sense. You're going to see something a lot higher. You're going to get some separation from the zone. And in fact, what you're going to get is likely a just standard retracement of the move that brought you down to that zone, right? The standard retracement, if I can get to it, delete all this. We take a high here to a low there. Standard retracement would take you up to at least the 61869, which is $172 to $202. But likely with how you've been consolidating here, I expect you go to the 786 to the 886 area, which is anywhere from 253 to 318. Okay, somewhere in that area. If we look at it on a price perspective, that same area makes sense because we have a monthly closing high right there, previous areas of resistance in the 2017 cycle, and then we also have a point of resistance here at some point in the bear cycle, kind of our lower high to initiate the bear cycle there. So there's a lot going on in that 250 to 318 area. I do like the prices closer to 300, but not quite above 300. I do think that's where you're going to go. Beyond all that, if we just look at the fibs, right there, the 786 to 886, we take a high to a low of this overall consolidation range from that high to low here. You have your 1886 and 2272 kind of deeper extensions in that area. With a smaller fib, it's oftentimes acceptable to count on your secondary fib zone, not your primary fib zone. When you break above, what this fib's telling us essentially is when you break above 192, you have access immediately to 240 to 331. Okay, and that's the same thing that this fib's telling us. When you break above the golden ratio here, you have access to this area, and they're in the same thing. So we have multiple fibs, multiple perspectives, not just pointing to the same area, but agreeing in the same area, the same kind of logic with the same areas of resistance to break through to validate this. It's a very beautiful thing, man, and I suspect Litecoin, you will cut through your golden ratio like butter. I really do. Your monthly RSI is getting postured, looking very phenomenal. You're about to get overbought. And I suppose we can talk about what happens when Litecoin gets overbought. Okay, we're going to talk about that on the monthly time frame. What happens to Litecoin? Because it's happening. You're above the 60, right? You're in the bullish area of control, right? It's likely going to happen. Last cycle, you got above the 60 and rejected. I think that's what this was here. I think you're going up, man. I really do. I think it's just a matter of time before you get into the overbought zone. Okay, so what does Litecoin do on a monthly basis when it gets overbought? If we look at the RSI, we're going to try to be as technical as possible. We're not going to give any kind of leeway. It has to be in the overbought zone. Here, man, I mean, that's basically right at it. I don't know how to be. Let's see. What's it say right there? 69.36. Technically, you're not in the overbought zone, so it would be the next month. Okay. I feel like we should count that, though. You're basically at the overbought zone, but whatever. I did say we'll be technical. We're not going to make exceptions, so I can't take that back. Why is it being so weird? Here we go. Okay, there we go. It's just so close up. There we go. So if not this month's the one that you got into the overbought zone. Litecoin continued to grow. You did not top off. Your cycle did not end for 8 months. 8 months. This was back in 2017 to December of 2017, back when Charlie Lee or Tommy Lee, I think it's Charlie Lee, sold all of his Litecoins. Okay. Here we go to the last cycle. So that was 8 months, right? Go to the last cycle. You got overbought, not this month of December, but the next month in January 2021. You got overbought here. Just barely, but you're overbought right there. Okay. Overbought here. This time you topped off then 4 months later. Okay, 4 months later. 4 months, 8 months. It's a big range to go off of. Likely it would, probably be sometime in between that. Maybe not exactly 4 months, maybe not exactly 8 months, but sometime in between. It could be less, it could be more, we don't know, but just off of the 2 cycles prior to what we're dealing with now, that's what Litecoin has to offer. If in the next 4 days and 21 hours, we do see Litecoin pump, we do see Litecoin above these prices, I would suspect that Litecoin is in the overbought zone with its RSI. If not, and more probably, I would suspect that that's going to happen in February. So if it's not this month that we get into the overbought zone, but it's next month, Okay, and if I'm wrong, it'll be different by about a month. Then we give a 4 to 8 month range from there. Okay, 4-month range there, 8-month range here. That would imply that Litecoin would top either June of 2025 or October of 2025. Again, it could be longer, it could be less time, but likely it'd be somewhere kind of in between here. Going off of this, though, I don't think Litecoin tops in October. I think it would actually top later. So I think it'd be this 8-month or longer kind of period. That's actually my assumption. That would actually be my genuine guess, and that's just based off of other things that I know about the markets, okay? But what we also saw, beyond just a price perspective, okay, from the closing point of the month that got us in the overbought zone, we moved up by the end of this cycle. We moved up a whole nother 219%. Whenever we got overbought back here, we moved up from the close that was in the overbought zone. Oh, that would have been this month, actually. We moved up another 23x. So whether it's a 3x or a 23x, right, there was a lot more growth to be had. I'm assuming that we will see more growth than this, but less growth than this. Where are we going to be by the end of February? Where are we going to close? I think we will close probably around here. I'm guessing, but probably around 250 we're going to close in February, because I think the move ends in March. So I think we'll continue to go. Let's say 250. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but let's just say 250. If you were to see 219% growth from there, that only puts you at 814. That doesn't make sense. But if you were to see 23x, 24x, what would that do? Dude, that takes you right to an expected extension zone, right at $6,000. I've got a whole lot on here, but let's just hide a low of this overall consolidation range that you've been in for the last 2 cycles. Look at that. It's literally the top of this fib range, the 1886 to the 200. It's perfect. It's literally perfect. And that's mimicking what you saw back here, which again, I'm anticipating you're going to have an 8-month stint like you did here, not a 4-month stint like you did here. And I think last cycle for Litecoin was the weakest cycle that it ever had, obviously, but I don't think this cycle is going to be that weak. I think it's going to be stronger. And if it's going to be stronger, it might be something of the sorts of this cycle here. Maybe not from a low to a high, but once you get overbought, I mean, man, once Litecoin's overbought, you're going to be dealing with breaking out of this consolidation phase, multi-cycle consolidation phase. The more different kind of ways that I look at Litecoin, man, a lot this past 2 weeks, I've seen a lot of things pointing to this area. And that's why I've gotten so cordial, so casual with talking about 4,500 to 6,300 being a genuine target area that Litecoin could top off at, man. It's at $113 now. Nobody's going to expect it. You don't hear anybody calling for these prices, right? If people are calling for higher prices, they're like, Litecoin's going to 50K. It's Moonboy stuff. And that's great. That's fun. My Moonboy prediction would be 13.5K. Anything beyond that's just ridiculous. Don't even talk to me. But and then anything below 2,100, same thing. Don't even talk to me. It's ridiculous. I couldn't see it getting anywhere less than 2,100 this cycle. There's no way. No way. Litecoin would have to be, if Litecoin doesn't hit 2,100 this cycle, it's dead. It's dead in the water. It's never going to do anything. It's dead. If you're consolidating for 2 cycles and that's all you get in crypto, no, that's not something that's robust. You're going to hit 45 to 63, man. Honestly, I really do think that. But anyways, guys, I'm just rambling at this point. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I hope you got something out of this video. Take care. Bye.